What if the love of your life came from a world so different, so dangerous, that loving them could cost you everything, even your life? This is a forbidden love story of Prince Oluwaseun and the Mermaid Adesuwa. In the far distant kingdom of Umofia, where the modern world collides with ancient traditions, lived a young prince named Oluwaseun, or as the people fondly called him, Olu. He was tall, graceful, and handsome, with a smile so bright that even the sun seemed dim beside him. But despite his charm, Prince Olu's heart remained untouched by love. He had wealth, power, and influence, yet he longed for something more, something different. Now, Umofia is not just known for its sprawling streets and fast paced life. It's a kingdom surrounded by the rich, mysterious waters of the Atlantic Ocean. And in these waters, unseen by human eyes, lived beings most only whispered about, mermaids. But not just any mermaids. These were Omo Odo, ancient and powerful, protectors of the seas, feared and respected by many. One day, Oluwaseun, feeling restless and wanting to escape the pressures of palace life, ventured out to a quiet, secluded beach. It was a place he loved to visit when he needed time to think. As the cool breeze brushed against his face and the waves gently kissed the shore, he saw something, or rather someone, that changed his life forever. A woman, more beautiful than any he had ever seen, with dark flowing hair and eyes that glimmered like the stars. She sat on a rock, half hidden by the waves, singing a song so sweet that it pierced to the deepest parts of his soul. This was no ordinary woman. She was Adesuwa, a mermaid from the depths of the ocean. Olu was mesmerized. He watched from a distance, his heart pounding like never before. There was something about Adesuwa, something magical. He couldn't look away, and just like that, he was drawn to her. Without thinking, he approached the water's edge, his gaze locked on her, and Adesuwa, sensing his presence, turned towards him. Their eyes met. In that moment, Olu knew he had found what he was searching for, something different, something magical. But this love was not without consequences. Loving a mermaid came with a price. The ancient stories warned against it. Humans and mermaids were never meant to be together. The sea was a realm of its own, and the guardians of the ocean would not easily allow one of their own to be stolen by a mortal. But Olu's heart had already chosen. Despite knowing the risks, despite the legends and the warnings of his people, he found himself falling deeper in love with Adezuwa. He knew he had to be with her, no matter what. From that day on, Prince Oluwaseun would sneak away to meet Adesuwa in secret. They met under the moonlight by the same secluded beach where the waves shielded their forbidden love. Their love grew stronger with each passing day. The more time they spent together, the more they learned about each other's worlds. Olu telling Adesuwa about life in the kingdom, and Adesuwa sharing stories of the mysteries beneath the ocean's surface. But it wasn't long before the Omo Odo, the ancient sea guardians, took notice of their relationship. These beings, sworn to protect the ocean and its inhabitants, saw Prince Olu as a threat, a mere mortal who had no place in their sacred realm. Adezuwa's connection with the prince was seen as a betrayal to her people, and whispers of punishment spread among the guardians. Meanwhile, back in the kingdom, Prince Olu's father, King Adeyemi, noticed his son's frequent absences and growing detachment. The king, a wise and experienced ruler, suspected something unusual was happening. He sent his most trusted adviser, Chief Balogun, to investigate. Balogun, ever loyal to the kingdom, soon discovered the prince's secret meetings with the mermaid. Horrified by the implications, Balogun rushed back to inform the king. The court was thrown into turmoil. A prince in love with a mermaid. This could only bring disaster. King Adeyemi, torn between his love for his son and the duty to his people, called for a council. Back at the beach, Olu and Adesuwa were unaware of the storm brewing around them. Their love was pure, untouched by the concerns of the world. But as tensions rose, they both began to feel the weight of their choices. The shadows of the Omo Odo grew darker and more menacing. Adesuwa began to hear whispers from the sea, warnings from her king, telling her to end the affair before it was too late. She felt torn between her love for the prince and her loyalty to her people. Then came the day that changed everything. As Olu and Adesuwa sat together, the moon casting a soft glow over the ocean, the waters began to stir. The waves became restless, rising higher and crashing against the shore with an eerie force. From the depths of the ocean, a voice emerged, a voice filled with ancient power and authority. It was the voice of Osun, the feared sea witch, the most powerful of the guardians. I know what you've done, she whispered, her voice slithering through the waves. A mermaid cannot love a mortal without paying a price. Oluwaseun stood frozen as Adesuwa lowered her head, her face filled with fear and sorrow. She knew what this meant. The only way to be together, continued Iyaosun, is for you, Oluwaseun, to leave behind your world and become one with the sea, or for Adesuwa to abandon the ocean and live on land. But remember, such transformations come at a cost, one that cannot be undone. Olu turned to Adesuwa, his heart racing. The weight of the decision crushed him. But he knew one thing. He could not imagine a life without her. But what would he be willing to sacrifice? His kingdom, his family, his very life? And so the clocks began to tick. The price of their love hung over them like a dark cloud, casting shadows on their once bright and joyous relationship. The choice was inevitable, but neither knew how to make it without losing everything they held dear. The next days were filled with pain and uncertainty. Olu's heart ached. Should he give up his kingdom and live with Adesuwa in the ocean, or should he let her come to land, knowing she would be an outcast among his people? The Omo Odo continued to press Adesuwa to leave the prince behind, telling her it was foolish to think a human could ever understand the depths of the ocean. Meanwhile, in the palace, King Adeyemi prepared for drastic action. He could not allow his son to bring disaster upon their land. The tension grew. Oluwaseun had to make a decision, but the more he thought, the more it seemed impossible. He would not lose Adesuwa, but he could not abandon his people. Both choices would destroy one part of him. He was stuck, torn between two worlds that refused to coexist. And then, in a heart-stopping moment, the choice was forced upon him. Aya Osun, tired of waiting, appeared once again, her form rising from the ocean in a swirl of dark, powerful energy. Oluwaseun, the time has come. You must choose love or duty, the ocean or the land. Make your decision now, or I will make it for you. The weight of her words filled the air, thick with tension. Adesuwa looked at Olu, tears in her eyes, her heart breaking with the knowledge of what was to come. Prince Oluwaseun's heart raced as the sea witch Iya Osun stood before him, demanding his decision. The ocean churned violently behind her, and the sky darkened as if the universe itself waited to see what choice he would make. Adesuwa looked at him with tear-filled eyes. her heart heavy with the knowledge that whatever decision Olu made, the consequences would be severe. The weight of duty and love pressed down on Olu. He remembered the stories his father, King Adeyemi, had told him as a child. Stories about kings who sacrificed everything for their people and the responsibilities that came with being royalty. But as he looked into Adesuwa's eyes, all of that seemed to melt away. Could he really live without her? Could he leave everything he knew to be with her? The sea witch's voice cut through the air again. Time is running out, Prince Oluwaseun. The ocean is patient, but I am not. Choose now. Oluwaseun's mind raced. He could join Adesuwa in the ocean, but that meant leaving his kingdom, his family, his people behind. Could he do that? Could he abandon the life he had known for love? And what of Adesuwa? If she left the ocean to be with him, she would be seen as an outcast, a creature not belonging to either world. Would their love survive in such harsh conditions? Taking a deep breath, Olu turned to Adesuwa, his heart heavy with the weight of his decision. Adesuwa, he whispered, I love you more than anything, but I cannot abandon my people. My kingdom needs me. I cannot be the kind of ruler who forsakes his duties for love, no matter how deep my feelings are. Adesuwa's tears flowed freely now, but she nodded. She had known this moment would come. I understand, Olu, she said softly, her voice trembling, but I cannot stay on land. My people need me too. This is my home, just as your kingdom is yours. I was foolish to think that our love could defy the rules of our worlds. Olu reached out to take her hand, his touch gentle but full of sorrow. There must be another way, he pleaded. I cannot lose you. Osun, who had been watching silently, now spoke again. There is one other way, but it is a path filled with pain. One of you must make the ultimate sacrifice, your very essence. If you, Prince Oluwaseun, give up your humanity, you will live forever in the sea with Adesuwa, but as a creature of the ocean, no longer bound by the duties of the land. If Adesuwa gives up her essence, she will become fully human, but she will lose all memory of her life beneath the waves. She will never remember you, the ocean, or the love you shared. A gasp escaped Adesuwa's lips. The thought of forgetting her entire existence, her connection to the sea, her family, and even her love for Olu was a nightmare. Olu too was struck by the gravity of the witch's words. To live with Adesuwa, but lose everything he had ever known, or let her live as a human, completely forgetting him. Either choice was devastating. But then Olu spoke, his voice steady and full of resolve. I will make the sacrifice. I cannot bear the thought of you losing your memories, Adesuwa. I would rather lose my life as I know it than live in a world where you don't remember me, where our love never existed. Adesuwa's heart broke at his words. No, Olu, I can't let you give up your life for me. You belong in your world just as I belong in mine. Olu shook his head. I cannot live without you, and I cannot let you lose yourself. I will become one with the sea so that we can be together. This is my choice. With a wave of her hand, Osun summoned the power of the ocean, the waters rising and swirling around them. The prince stood tall, his decision made, even as the magic of the sea began to pull him into its depths. Adesuwa clung to him, her tears mixing with the salt of the ocean. I will never forget you, Olu. I love you, always. And with that, the transformation began. Prince Oluwaseun's body shimmered and shifted, his legs becoming the sleek tail of a merman. The ocean embraced him as one of its own, and Adesuwa wrapped her arms around him, her love overwhelming her sadness. But as the waters settled, Adesuwa realized something terrible. In the moments when Olu had accepted his fate, Iya Osun's magic had also taken something else from him, his memories of life as a human. Though he had given up his humanity for love, the ocean demanded its price. Oluwaseun would live as a merman, but he would no longer remember the kingdom, the people, or even the love that had driven him to make this sacrifice. Adesuwa watched in horror as Olu, now a creature of the sea, looked at her with unfamiliar eyes. His love for her was gone, replaced by the primal instincts of the ocean. He swam into the depths, leaving her behind. Heartbroken, Adesuwa realized that the true price of their love had been too high. They had both lost something they could never get back. Olu, his memories, and Adesuwa, the love that had once been so strong. And so, dear listeners, the story of Prince Oluwaseun and Mermaid Adesuwa comes to a heartbreaking close. The love that once brought them together ultimately tore them apart, as the powers of the ocean demanded a price far too high for them to bear. In the end, Prince Olu became a part of the sea, but his sacrifice left him with no memory of the life he once knew. Adesuwa, now alone, continued her existence beneath the waves, her heart forever heavy with the loss of the man she had once loved. This story serves as a reminder that true love, while powerful, often comes with sacrifices beyond what we are prepared for. In the world of myth and magic, not every love story ends in happiness. Thank you for joining me on this emotional journey into the world of African folklore. If you enjoyed this tale or if it touched your heart, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more captivating stories from the realms of myth and legend. Before you go, tell me in the comments, what would you sacrifice for love? Let's talk about it below, and I'll see you next time for another magical adventure. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and tap the notification bell so you never miss a new story. Follow me on this journey through the world of folklore and myth, where every tale reveals a new lesson about life, love, and the human heart.